Hey, Digipoxcat here, and we all like music, don't we? We all have a favorite band. We have a favorite type of music, a favorite genre, if you know your technical terms for music. We may even have a favorite music video. We all have guilty pleasure songs that we are ashamed to admit that we like. Sometimes we like groups from other countries. Like you've got the Flogging Mollies, you've got Bare Naked Ladies, you've got U2, and you've got like Newsboys. All of those guys come from different parts of the world, not America. And we've got tons of music here in America too. But there's a particular era of music that I really got into from the 60s, the British invasion. And we're going to be talking about, if you can tell from my shirt, we're going to be talking about the Beatles. Now in high school I really got into this music. That's why I gained a really cool nickname, which is even on my Letterman jacket back here. So I'm going to put it on and show you. I was Beatle Fan 64. This is another jacket that I had in high school. I was big on winning Beatles things I could wear. And my mom made this jacket. It's iron-on transfers. And it even has the signatures, which you'll see again later. Of course, talking about music, we have to show off all of the mini albums that you can collect. Well, these aren't vinyl albums like you would collect back in the day, but these are what I collected, CDs. Alright, we've got a extensive collection of early days, all the way through early albums. I have them labeled out in order of the release dates. As you can notice, Yellow Submarine has two. They did a digitally remastered, and I just put it in with the regular one. And Let It Be has a naked version where it's stripped down just to the recordings you would have gotten in the studios. All the way down to, we've got some past masters and the, sorry, because of the glare, okay, that made it worse. The Beatles One album, which is a collection of all their #1 hits. This is the first one. I know there's another volume out, but I'm not sure what it is because I kind of stopped collecting music, and it's getting harder to find due to iTunes and whatnot coming out. And then you have the anthology, which has a little bit of everything in 3 volumes. I'm gonna show you here. It's hard to read, but it's got a lot of stuff on it. It's 2 CDs worth of stuff, as you can tell. 2 CDs. The Beatles White Album is also 2 CDs, and I believe it was also 2 vinyl records. Okay, so this is the big box I was telling you about. This is Beatles Capitol Albums Volume 1. This is all the first 4 albums they did. It was Capitol Records. So you have Meet the Beatles, which was named With the Beatles, I think, here. On the other one, yeah, With the Beatles. It's Meet the Beatles. Then you have Something New, the Beatles' second album, and Beatles 65. Now on these, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, it's got stereo versions and mono versions of all the songs. So they're double the set of them. And it's pretty cool. I wouldn't mind if getting the rest, but like I said, by the time the rest came out, I was kind of not collecting CDs as much. Okay, seeing that Paul McCartney is my favorite Beatle, I've got a few of his album ones. I have his Back in the US live tour one. I have All the Best, which is kind of a collection of his songs. So it's got Band on the Run, Ebony and Ivory, which he did with Michael Jackson back when Michael Jackson was trying to acquire the songs. Paul McCartney didn't go for it. No More Lonely Nights, My Love, Coming Up, and songs such as that from his times with Wings. And then Paul McCartney, Memory of Multiple. This is one of his latest albums, I should, within the past 5 years. More like 10 years. I'm not sure when I got it. And then I have a few funny ones, like Bugs and Friends Seeing the Beatles. This is a hilarious parody of Looney Tunes, mainly Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, and Taz singing Beatles songs. So this has She Loves You, The Fool on the Hill, Birthday, Hello Goodbye, With a Little Help from My Friends, I Won't Be Alone, Yesterday, Penny Lane, Help, Can't Buy Me Love, and Along a Winding Road. And I just find this one very hilarious. And then I have a CD of classical Beatles songs. Being the artist I am and the Beatle fan that I am, I created this lamp. It is a regular lamp base that I painted up to have designs, a yellow submarine beetle bug, and a hand-painted lampshade. And I did all the wiring, all the painting, and the design on this. So here's some of the details on the base. I have a bunch of 60s things because that kind of went. There's my signature with the date of 2003 is when this was made. And here's the backside of the car. You even have silver paint, which is a special type of paint. And it even says the Beatles on this license plate. As we're rotating around, here's a better view of the car. On the back, it has my name and some music notes, and like I said, I did very 60s. And on the base, I also used the colors that they used for their Sgt. Pepper outfits. So I have some pink and red because pink didn't show up quite as well. I have bright blue, bright neon blue, neon green, and yellow. It's kind of hard to see because I went with a blue base. Now moving up here on the lampshade, if you remember I said the signatures were going to be here again for my jacket. And here we go. I hand painted these. So basically what we did is we basically made the lampshade into a light box. And we had these and I painted it. So we had the silhouette and I painted the signatures in silhouette on it here. There's George Harrison, John Lennon, here's Paul McCartney, and here's Ringo Starr. And because this was the only way we could get the faces, it wasn't particularly my favorite, but since I was going for a yellow submarine here, it works. And I'm going to turn off the light here and show you. It's dark now, and let there be light. So this is how the lampshade works to light up. It doesn't like illuminate it onto the walls. You would have to paint the actual light bulb itself. And of course we got some DVDs. The top row here is the 3 of the 5 movies that we have. So we have A Hard Day's Night, which is the first movie, which they created to kind of cash in on the hype of Beatlemania, because like all things they thought it was going to end. A similar thing happened with Pokemon. Then helped their second one when they just went and had fun. And Yellow Submarine, which isn't technically the Beatles, but it is. What I mean by that, the Beatles weren't unavailable to do their actual voices, so they used voice actors, similar to the Beatles cartoon, which aren't the Beatles. Sorry if I spoiled anything for anybody. Then a few DVDs that are basically documentaries, and then I have a few Paul McCartney videos. Back in the U.S. was his concert film, because he was coming back into the U.S. basically after being there, and then a collection that he did for animated series where he did the music for them. Okay, these are some collector magazines that I have from the 40th anniversary. This biggest one here is a magazine all about the Beatles, put out for the 40th anniversary, kind of like some of the bigger issues of Life or Rolling Stones are, but this was exclusively Beatles. As you can tell, exclusively Beatles, nothing else. All Beatles. Next, we have the TV Guide. I know some of you don't know what that is because I don't think it exists anymore. But the TV Guide used to do little things, and they did it for a year exclusive. I believe there was 4 covers, 1 of 4. I got Paul since he was my favorite. And this would be a special tribute to the 4-year anniversary of Beatles playing at Shea Stadium. Next we have Reader's Digest, which has an exclusive event on the untold story of the Beatles, and I believe this one was also put out around a 40th anniversary. Okay, so this is a metal wall plaque. I'll show you metal. It's a little bent up, of A Hard Day's Night. And so we've got some decor. Underneath it here we have 2 books, biographical get my words right, books. This one's called Shout, and then we have The Unseen Archives. These are 2 books that I kept because the details of everything, the way it's written, is well done. So these are 2 of my books that I've kept. Okay, so we've got some large books. This is one of my latest ones. It was a gift for my birthday, and this is the Beatles in America poster book, and it literally is posters. Open it up here so you can see. So you got that one. Over here we have the Beatles, Life in Pictures. So this has the pictures that talk about it. So mostly pictures with some blurbs of what these pictures are. And this one. And then probably one of my favorite Beatles books ever is the Beatles Gear book. This is about all of the equipment they ever used. It is all about the guitars they used, the drums they used, the amps they used, all of this stuff. Here are some of the amps they used. Being a musician, I love this book. It really told of why they picked it and which ones were their favorites and whatnot. Alright, so being a musician, I have music books. This is Paul McCartney Anthology. This is for guitar, but I used it for clarinet and oboe. As you can tell, it has music and it has the picks. And here's a list of the songs it has in it. So this is all of his post-Beatles stuff, his solo career. And this next one is very old and very beat up. It is the Beatles Complete Piano Music book. As you can tell, it has been well used and received. This is the 1979 edition. And as you can tell, it's been taped up with Scotch tape in several places. The pages are sticking together, and it has my lovely Union Jack duct tape holding it together. But this has a collection of all their songs, and stars are ones that I like to play a lot, so they were my favorite songs, so I started them so I could easily find them. Like I said, it is piano music, so there's 2 lines, and yeah, I wrote in it. I got this in middle school, was given this in middle school, so it's got a lot of writing. I was into writing more stuff, and it even has the lyrics so you could sing along with it. So yeah, that's my music books. This is, for the first time ever together in print, the Beatles lyric book. Sons of Lennon, McCartney, Harrison, and Starr. So yeah, another music book, but this time it is only the words. Sorry, it hasn't been open and cracked a lot, but I do use it quite a bit. If I couldn't remember, it's on, and there is even, sorry camera, some pictures in here. I'll show you the back. All the songs you could possibly think of, Beatles, the lyrics are in this book. So if you don't want to sit and wait for lyrics.com or something to load up, or Google to find the actual lyrics for your song, I have this for Beatles songs. Okay, so this is an action figure. This is Paul McCartney from the Beatles cartoon. This is made by McFarlane Toys, of all things. So I had a McFarlane toy thing before I met Matt and Robin. And yeah, I kept it in the box. This actually came from Virgin Music way back when. And I really like these figures. And they got, of course, it was given to me as a gift from my parents. And they managed to get me Paul because he knew it was my favorite. I would have loved to gotten the rest of these because I really like the Beatles cartoon. I just wish it was on DVD so I could watch it, because most of the episodes are region locked on YouTube. So I'm going to show you the back and show you what they would have all looked like together. We have something that's fairly new. We have Hot Wheels. I'm going to do it both like this right now to kind of show you. These are both yellow submarine designs. So you have a regular car that has Paul on it. I think they have one of these designs for every one of the Beatles. And we have the yellow submarine. This is part of their Screen Time series. So as you can see on the back, you got the yellow submarine car, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, and a blue meanie for the set. That's this one here. Moving on with Yellow Submarine, we have a Connect set. This is really cool. I probably will never open it, but these are Connect minifigures. I don't know what Connect calls them, but these are basically Connect's version of the minifigs. This is what the back looks like, of what you can do with it. Now we're going to go to some old school Yellow Submarine toys that I have. I have Max the Blue Meanie and Glove. I found these in Pennsylvania at basically a version of Big Lots or Pick and Save type place for like $1. And they are squishy. These are from this time of Yellow Submarine, the movie. These would have been toys. They also had a Yellow Submarine and I think so the Sgt. Pepper's big bass drum. So these traveled quite a ways, and as you can tell, age hasn't done them too well because I used to have him out, so he's a little messed up. But I just thought these were so awesome. And something kind of weird that you wouldn't think Beatles would be about would be Beanie Babies. This is Paul. He's a walrus. He's actually named for Beatles song I Am the Walrus, and the running joke of that Paul was the walrus. It also goes alongside the joke that Paul is dead, if you're into that conspiracy theory. You have the raccoon, which most people wouldn't think was directly, but this is Ringo the Raccoon, and they were trying to come up with a cool name. They had suggestions like Rocky Raccoon, which is a Beatles song, and the artist goes, well, how about Ringo? It starts with an R, and he was my favorite Beatle. He's my favorite drummer. And then we have Jack over here, who is one of the flag print ones. This is a later one, as you can tell from the tag. I never could find anybody who was selling Britannia for a decent enough price because it was the UK exclusive. Alright, so like anything else, Beatles got a Monopoly game. I also have the 60s Monopoly style game. Yeah. Basics. Look them over and show you this here. This actually, all Beatles, you collect the albums for this one and then ticket stubs. And here's the back of the 60s. It mentions the Beatles, and you get a Volkswagen Beetle to drive around the thing. So these are my two board games I have for the Beatles. And of course, since we have board games, we also have puzzles. This big one here is the second volume of the anthology, and this is the cover puzzle. I have not opened it and done it yet. This is one that I've debated just keeping it in the package, but I kind of want to just do it. I believe it's 500 pieces, so it shouldn't be too hard. Now these smaller tins here are album puzzles as well, but they are double-sided. So this would be side 1, and on the back it would show you what side 2 is. So these were really cool, and we also, so I had Hard Day's Night and I had Yellow Submarine. And the lid's on funny on that one. So that's the back of that one. A lot of detail here. Very hard to do. I've put together these many times, and I've lost many puzzle pieces too. Alright, so this is a lunchbox. Convenient. This is a Beatles Yellow Submarine lunchbox. This came from Hallmark, and I kept the authenticity here on it, and it has a huge bio of what it is. And here's what the back looks like. So the back has the Beatles. On one side you've got Nowhere Man, or Jeremy. And you got a blue meaning on this side. And inside we have a bunch of stuff. Look at that, I'm using my lunchbox. So I've got a keychain, I've got pins, these are album pins, I've got some old cut up shirts. I know, it was weird. I was going to make a blanket at one point and just didn't. So I've got some cut up shirts. I have the smallest book ever. This came from the Smithsonian, and it just had the little things of the Beatles. It's a tiny, tiny little Beatles book. And like I said, there's a bunch of pins. As you can see, all the pins. Alright, these are 3 wall clocks that I have. These are very special to my heart because my family and I, when I was growing up, used to do art fairs, and we were up at Oak Glen for quite a few years. And we befriended basically another family of crafters, and this is what the dad made. And so my mom basically commissioned him to make me 3 of these. This one here was a poster that I had in my room, so they made that one because I always liked it because Paul was kind of hiding. And then 2 of the younger Beatles, which were my most favorite style of the Beatles, was the younger ones. And we also have, to go along with it, this is a plate that I did. So I sponged the outside to look like a Union Jack. We've got the names in gold, and this was a decal that I put on. And on the back here, I have my signature, I have what it is, and them in the corresponding colors to their Sgt. Pepper albums. Okay, this is something kind of spectacular. This is my Beatles scrapbook. I'm not going to show you what's in it, but you get to see the cover and see kind of what's in it. You can see some newspaper articles and some pictures, because the contents inside this would be a video in itself, and it will be. I will do a part 2 where I show you what's inside the Beatles notebook, the scrapbook of Beatle Fan 64, aka Digi Foxcat. Foxcat you later.